Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd, where the joy of numerology is the joy of learning and enlightenment. I've been having some challenges with the computer. Much of the day, I do not know what's going on, which is why I'm late. Being a numerologist, I love being on time. As you see on the screen, we have the beautiful Jenna Ba, excuse me. Uh, anyway, anyway, who is astrological lecturer, metaphysic, metaphysical lecturer. But anyway, and what she's going to be doing today, she is going to give. This is going to be a first for us. It's going to be a slide presentation. So what's happening is our attention is going to be on her presentation. For those of you who may have questions after that presentation, she will gladly take your. Okay, here we go. She'll gladly answer whatever questions you have, and then she's going to present her slide presentation. So we've been trying to work this out since yesterday. And Mercury's not even retrograde yet. That's the main thing. You would think Mercury's retrograde, which I can understand. I don't understand this at all. But without further ado, let me please introduce my very distinguished guest, Jenna Ba. Jenna Ba, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lloyd?
I'm fine now that we're finally on after doing this. I'm saying, what in the world is going on? But you look beautiful. Look at you. Look at you.
Thank
You
you.
look fabulous, lady.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
I tell you, before we get to the slide presentation, what led you on your journey? And what that photograph that I showed, where were you at the time?
I was in Abu Simbel at the Nefertari Temple, which was the wife of Ramesses II, who ruled for 67 years. He had 100 wives, but
Mm.
Nefertari was his favorite wife. And so he built her temple next to his in Abu Simbel.
You know what's interesting? When I was in India, the gentleman that built the Taj Mahal, he had a number of wives. I don't think he had 100 though, but I know he loved this woman so much that Taj Mahal, for those that have been there to see it, I say respect to him. Such is the power of a woman when we're motivated the right way. Such is the power. So, how long were you there?
I was there for 30 days.
Nice,
In
nice.
Abu Simbel, I stayed for 2 weeks and I loved it so much because the Nubians, I was at an eco lodge, which was ran by Nubians. And, I had traveled all throughout Egypt, but in our people, this was the only place that everything was ran by them, owned by them, and controlled by them, the Nubians. And their story is just so fascinating. And I just fell in love with them.
Well, two things I know. Supposedly, that the bricks that were used to erect the pyramids came from that part of the Nile, the Nubian. I know that when I was in Egypt during the Ramadan period, they kept touching my skin saying Nubian. That's all I know. That's my limited experience in that way. I'm not from a historical point of view, such as you have and whatnot. But what led you down this astrological path, Jennifer?
Oh my God, chills come over me when you ask me that. Challenges in my personal life. I mean, my life, I was in the 70s, in the mid 70s, late 70s. I had consulted two or three astrologers in San Francisco at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my relationship with my family, with my mother, with my father, everything was not good. And I was just like, there's got to be something deeper than this, than all this pain and suffering, and from my family. So I went to see a couple of astrologers, and there weren't any Black astrologers that I knew at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
when I went
Mm-hmm.
to visit them, when they would read my chart, I was like, it's got to be deeper than this. There was something inside of me that said, astrology is deeper than this, than what they're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of pushed me in the direction to study. But then my mentor, Dr. Richard King, who wrote African Origins of Biological Psychiatry, he took me as a person, his personal student for 2 years. And when I first met with him, he told me to buy 7 books. There were 7 books that he told me to buy, and a few of them had to do with astrology. For that, so in the spring of 1980, that's when I began my official studies of astrology.
And it's been a nice journey ever since then. But you know, and you're right, because here in Harlem, when people would walk around with the books, astrology books, they were actually covered in brown paper wraps. You know how I'm saying? Like you got book jackets. Well, that's how people were walking around. It's almost there were one or two maybe black astrologers, but that was it. And those who were into astrology was more kept like under the radar. So you know, they wouldn't walk around with the obvious book showing where you could look and say, "Oh, what's that about?" But it's interesting the same way. So I just think it's interesting. But now let's see, my dear, if we can get this your slide presentation up so people can journey with you as you do your lectures, because you are
Yes,
metaphysical lecturer.
yes.
Okay.
Let me just also say before we get started that my one of my specialties, my focus is I'm an esoteric astrologer. And what that means is that I look at the inner meaning of things. I look at the spiritual meaning. I'm focused on the invisible side, like, not the everyday mundane things, but
Sure.
I like to go deep into the spiritual meaning, like our soul purpose. Why are we here? These are some of the things I specialize in when looking at someone's chart. Why did you come here on this planet? Because I call it an astrological mandala. That's what I call astrology charts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my specialties is looking at that.
So in the process, did you discover why you were here? If that makes sense.
You could say somewhat.
Okay.
There was very strong inclinations that, my 11th house was full. And I have 2 or 3 planets at 22 degrees, which
Yeah,
is like
that's in the sign of Aquarius. No, because I say it because it's like me trying to turn my skills and read myself. I can't do it as well as if I'm reading someone else outside of me.
a
So
hundred percent,
that's the only reason why I asked that question.
a
You know,
hundred percent.
when it comes
Yeah.
to turning it inside toward yourself, it's not quite the same. And so we have to go outside of ourselves. In fact, I know when I was in the martial arts, the the senseis actually sent their boys to another sensei school, to another martial arts school, because it was like,
Mm.
oh, dad, or whatever the case is. So they would have to actually send in them other schools to learn from other artists and whatnot. Anyway, let's see what we can do. And while you're getting the preparing the presentation, I forgot to do the thing that I do every day after this, every time after the show, which is the initial presentation. So while I'm doing this, this will give you a chance to get all the pieces in place. Okay, this is Live with Lloyd, where the joy of numerology is the joy of learning. And I left out enlightenment. Okay, so please like, share, and please subscribe. Okay, like, share, subscribe if you feel it's worth it, if you feel you enjoy it. And then today is Monday, it is the 18th. So we're nearly at the end of Aries. And by the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday, it will officially be in the sign of Aquarius. And as you see, the sun is in Aries still. The moon is in Scorpio. It moves into Sagittarius at 10:16 tonight. It's a one universal month, a 4 universal week, a one universal day. So those under the signs of Leo, Aquarius, Aries, and Scorpio, this is a good day for you, and especially if you're born on the 1st, the 10th, excuse me, the 1st, the 9th, the 10th, the 18th, the 19th, 27th, and 28th of any month. So that is the forecast. So now let's see if we are able to get her presentation.
Okay,
Uh,
so I'm going to press share right now,
okay, please do.
and there it is. Do you
I
see
see
it?
it. I see it. So I'm
Okay.
going to press on the screen. All right, we did it. We did it. Okay, boy, it was something else yesterday.
Okay.
Please begin, my dear.
Okay. So can we just get the? Are you able to just put the slides up, or do you want us in this mix in
You're
the?
going to have to do that. I can't. I have no control on this end.
Okay. Let me see.
I know
No,
you were moving them just a moment ago. And by the way, that's a beautiful shot of you. Where was that in Egypt?
that was also at Abu Simbel. And the key that I'm holding in my hand is the key to the door of Nefertari's temple.
Really?
Yes, that's been used for over 3,000 years. And I was actually there. That was my last night in Abu Simbel. I stayed there at the temple all day, and I went to the light and sound show afterwards. And this was in March.
Yeah.
And what happened is the guy, I was there until they closed. He actually took that key and
That
locked
you're
the door
holding?
to the temple. Yes.
And what did he do again when he took the key?
He locked the door with it. He locked the door to the temple with that actual key.
Wow.
Yes, that is the actual key that they locked the temple with, Nefertari's temple.
You know, it's interesting when people go somewhere, outside the country, they'll bring back cigars, spirits, things like that. I brought back sand. I had no problems getting past custom. I don't know what you brought back, but that's all I brought back was just a bunch of sand. I had no problems getting past custom, you know? So, but that's nice. So now let's see if we can get your presentation going. Let's see.
Okay. It looks like we're freezing.
Okay, I hope we're not.
I'm
Right
sending.
now, I still see you, so we're good on this end.
Okay, so let me just see if I minimize it. If I can forward it. Okay, there we go.
Okay, good. Then you can enlarge it a second if you want
Let me
to.
see. Let me just see if that works. Okay. Um, so there's my disclaimer.
Right.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
So,
good. I'm ready.
from an astrological perspective, I want people to know that I looked to astrology as a science first because you have to collect your data. And the more accurate your data is, the more accurate the chart is that you cast, that you can inform people of what's going on in their life. So, and that data is the date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth. Okay?
Uh, Jennifer, I say it is an ancient African science.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's what I do. I have the adjective
Okay.
African science in front of it. But go ahead.
Yes, you can add all the adjectives you want.
Thank you,
Yes.
dear.
Thank you. And then second, it's an art. And there, so it's a science and it's an art. The interpretation of a chart is an art within itself. And then thirdly, but last but not least, it involves intuition. And like where I'm at right now, when I look at charts, I mean, I don't even refer to any books. I just download the symbols years ago, just started speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just download what spirit tells me I need to inform people about, but everything is there. So the chart, when I'm looking at an astrological chart, the chart actually, the symbols become alive and they speak to me. And that's how intuition comes into it also.
I know that feeling.
Okay, so let's see if this is gonna. Okay, so I cast the chart for your show today.
Really? All
Yes.
right. All right.
And if you can see right here, let me get my cursor over here because I'm working with two monitors. I put Lloyd live Monday, April 18th, 2022, Harlem, New York. And I set it for 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And so guess what? We have, I want you to know that 7. The moon's void, of course, now. The
Yes,
moon's
it
void.
is. Yes, it
So that's
is.
why it could be what the challenges we've been dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things don't go as planned. But what we want to do is you always want to look at the angles. The 4 angles of the chart are the most important things. The ascendant, that's
Mm-hmm.
the constellation that's rising in the east. And we see 22 degrees Libra. That's a master number. And then Libra, the ruler of this chart is Venus. And Venus is in the 5th house. with
Mhm.
Jupiter, Neptune, and Mars and Pisces. So we got a lot of, this is like having fun. This is the house of Leo, the fifth house. So it's a lot of energy going on. And we got the destiny in the eighth house, and we got Mercury in Uranus, and the sun is getting ready to set in Harlem because once it goes below this line, that's below the horizon.
That's right. Is would those, especially around the fifth and sixth house, be called stelliums because they all kind of cluster together? Would that
Well,
be the correct word?
a stellium, excellent question, is when you have three or more planets in one sign. It's a
Uh
gift
huh.
from God.
Okay,
And so
got it.
now we can see that we have Jupiter and Neptune, which were just conjunct about a week ago in Pisces. And Neptune rules Pisces, and it's a co-ruler of Pisces, Jupiter in Vedic astrology. We have Venus and we have Mars all in Pisces. And so if we look down to the element chart, you can see
Hmm.
we have a lot of water and a lot of earth now. The E stands for earth, the W stands for water. And so there's 5 planets in water. So even though we're in a fire sign, Aries, the emotional piece is very strong now. And also our dreams are very strong now. And I recorded my dreams every night for 10 years in the 80s. That's,
Really?
yes, that's Dr. King got me started on that. And what it is that the most important time, the most powerful dreams come through when you have a lot of earth and water, especially with the sun and the moon. But right now, the predominant energies are earth and water. This is a powerful time for visualization, healing, prayer, meditation,
Hmm. Hmm.
developing your spiritual discipline, getting grounded with a spiritual discipline for spring. And you know how people say, well, what's your New Year's resolution? I think each season we should have like a resolution. So, what's your spring resolution? What do you want to create and manifest these next 3 months?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, I just wanted to show how we can use astrology to look at events, to see the energy. And Libra is a perfect rising to have your program. It's a perfect.
Well, I think this is a very nice surprise to do a little chart on the show itself. That's good. That's really
And when
good.
we look at the midheaven right here, which is the highest point, this is 12 noon. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And we have a Taurus in the midheaven. Okay. And
Hmm.
so, wait. No, excuse me. I changed charts. Excuse me. I changed. Excuse me. We have Cancer in the midheaven. Excuse me.
Uh-huh.
And so that means the star Sirius is his energies are blessing us. The energies of the star Sirius, the brightest star of the heavens.
Yeah, which the Dogon spoke about.
Yes.
Question: people talk about these nodes, North Node, South Node. Not to get off track, but can
No,
you just
no.
give a brief description of North Node, South Node? One's supposed to represent the future, one's supposed to represent the past. And I heard something that does this or that. From your experience and perspective, what do these nodes mean, North and South, please?
Okay, well, that's an excellent question. Books have been written about the nodes.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
just from years of experience and the North Node and the South Node, the North Node is what your soul is striving for this lifetime. And the South Node is your past. It's like what you've learned and what you've brought in from your past lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so your soul is striving. And if you look at the North Node, I'm just going to circle it in this chart right here. Look,
Sure.
this is the North Node. It looks like a pair of headphones.
Yes, it does.
Okay. It's so like
It
your
does.
North. Yeah. So if you put the North Nodes on like your headphones, it's like you're listening to your higher self and where it's leading you and guiding you.
That's an excellent way of describing it. That's perfect.
Thank you.
And the South Node?
The South Node, again, is charts normally don't show the South Node, but it's always exactly opposite the
Yep.
North Node.
Yep.
So right now, the North Node in right here,
It's in the eighth house. No, that's the ninth house.
no, the eighth house right here.
Eighth house. Okay.
And for what is this? This is April 18, 20. It's saying the North Node is 23 Gemini, and I'm kind of confused about that because I thought the North Node was in Scorpio, so I'm gonna have to check on that.
Okay.
But the south node is usually opposite.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait a minute. The south node. Yeah, they don't. If we look down here, you can see the north node is in Taurus. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The north node is in Taurus.
So that means the south node would be in Scorpio.
That's 100% correct.
Okay.
And they never show that on the chart. I usually like to write it in.
That's interesting. It doesn't do that.
Okay. And so this is a powerful time now for fixed signs with that, because remember the two money signs are Scorpio and Taurus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you're looking for money in the chart, you look to the second house and the eighth house.
Yeah, fixed signs.
Okay. The money signs.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
Okay, now since we're in April, I wanted to look at two famous Aries charts.
Okay.
And I've chosen Maya Angelou. You know,
April 4th.
She was born on April 4th in 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri. And they say that her time was 2:10 p.m.
Let me see. I have her chart too. Go ahead.
Okay, so her ascendant was Leo. What do you expect? I mean, she was the ultimate performer, right?
Yep, without question. Flair, pizzazz, everything.
But check this out also. She has Neptune right there on her ascendant also. Okay, and so you know Neptune rules music, film, and poetry. Okay?
And she did it all too.
She did it all. And then her moon, she was born on a full moon. She was born with her sun in Aries and her moon in Libra.
Libra, yeah.
Okay, now remember, the full moon children and the new moon children are the mystical children.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and they're seeking for that inner balance between head and heart, and their heart and their mind. And now you know that Saturday we just had the Aries Sun Libra full moon, just this past Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
That Libra moon is powerful because you know Libra has to do with your feelings, even though people always want to connect it to the scales, but it's dealing with an exalted state of feelings,
of emotions. Yeah,
that's what spirituality is. And where do those exalted feelings come from? Of course, they come from your thoughts.
Now, I have it here that her ascendant was in Leo. Would we be correct? Because I do have the time too. It's 2:10.
Yes, her ascendant is in Leo.
Okay, yeah, 1928. Okay, good enough. Good enough. Just checking.
Okay. And so we're looking down here for the planets in fire. She had 3, 4, 5 planets in fire. So when we break down the elements, fire, water, air, and earth, half of her planets out of the 10 planetary placements, we're counting the sun and moon as planets, even though they're stars. Half of her planets was fire. So you don't want to mess with Maya.
And then she's a fire sign too, on top of it, Aries?
Yes, and she had 5 planets in fire. She had a stellium in Aries. Because she was born, look at why she was so blessed. I want you to see something, because these charts that I'm showing tonight have a common theme. She was born with her sun next to Jupiter, okay? Within 2 degrees conjunction.
I see that.
Jupiter was up in the heavens next to the sun. And that is the most auspicious, the most blessed person has that aspect.
In other words, you're saying when the sun is close to planet Jupiter?
It's a blessing. You are blessed. You came in with some heavy, blessed energy.
Well, that will certainly prove itself right too.
But let me just say one other thing about this chart before
Please do. This is your show. Please do.
Yes. Is that Maya, look at all the red lines. Now, when you look at the red lines, those are the aspects between the planets that, you know, the angles. And she had what we call a yod. And what it is that the red lines are the challenges that you have to deal with this lifetime. And the blue lines are things that flow harmoniously. And way back in the day, they used to say, oh, this is bad, this isn't good. But research has shown that the people who have the most challenges are the most successful. the people who rise up to the challenges that they're having in their life are the most successful people. And you can see the red lines are dominating this chart.
And it's interesting because in her biography, I don't know why the cage bird sings. She talked about her life and the challenges and the abuse and all that stuff. She really emphasized that.
Yes, indeed. And twice. So we're gonna now. I just want to mention, and I really don't want to mention this, but I just feel,
Please do. Please do. Please feel
that
free to. That's why you're on here.
Martin Luther King was assassinated on her birthday, and I believe it was
Yes.
intentional.
You do? That's interesting.
Yes, because she was to work with him and Malcolm. And then, Malcolm X was assassinated on Nina Simone's birthday.
I know, February 21st, 1965.
Okay, so I don't think that was any coincidence on either one of them. I do want to say that.
Yeah. That's very, very interesting. And both those women, because Nina Simone was no slouch either. Okay. She
Nina
very,
Simone's
very
chart is amazing. I love Nina.
Powerful women. I knew about Maya Angelou and being assassinated. He was assassinated on her birthday, but I forgot that the February 21st was also the day of Sister Nina Simone. It was and she didn't pull no punches either.
And they were both activists, and they both
Yep.
spent time in Africa. And Maya was coming back to work with Malcolm. And
wow.
So I just we got to pay attention to these.
This is deep, right, Jennifer? This is deep. Okay, that's what I call deep. Okay, good.
Okay, so my second person that I just want to show how you can use astrology as a tool for self-empowerment, because when you look at people's charts and you see how what they have created and manifested in their life, and then you can look at your chart and see oh, do I have this? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And how, it's a good way to get perspective into your own chart. Again, this is Paul Robeson's chart.
April 9th.
April 9th. Here we go. Let me use my cursor. He's born on Saturday, Princeton, New Jersey. Okay. And in astrology, when you don't know someone's birth time, we use 12 noon just to get the planetary placements, because somewhere in the world it was 12 noon. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so the houses are going to change when you get the right time, but the planetary placements aren't going to change. And the moon may change, because if we look here, his moon is 27 degrees Sagittarius. But if he was born after 4 o'clock, his moon would go into what is his moon? 27 Scorpio? His moon is 27 in Scorpio, excuse me. His moon is 27 degrees Scorpio. If he was born after 4 p.m., his moon would be Sagittarius. So we just have to speculate,
But that would make sense to me, because he sung in Wales. I mean, he sung in different languages. A singer, he was an activist. All of those things, all that Sagittarian traits to me.
Well, see, look at he has a stellium. Look at all this Sag right here. He has his Uranus and his Saturn and Sag, which would give him, because he spoke 20 languages.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And number two,
foreigners, foreign countries, foreign languages.
Not only that, he was a lawyer, but they wouldn't let him practice.
Yes, that's right.
And law is ruled by Sagittarius.
And you know what's interesting? Paul Robeson, I live right around the corner from where he used to live when he was here in Harlem. I kid you not. He was right around the corner.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
That is amazing. Yes. And again, look at all the red lines on his chart. Look at
challenges.
Oops, wait, I went, let me get back. Look at this. And he was amazing, because he traveled around the world. He spoke 20 languages. He was a singer. Yep. And he took those careers up because they would not allow him to practice law.
Yeah. He played
Another,
Othello. All these. I mean, the man was just brilliant,
he was
brilliant.
brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And he had 3 planets in fire. He had 3 planets in air. He had 2 planets in earth and 2 planets in water. So he had all the elements and he was very well rounded.
Balance, right? He was very balanced.
Another thing I want to say is him and Einstein were very good friends.
Really? He was born a
Yes.
Pisces, March 14th.
Yes. Him
That's
and Einstein,
interesting.
they
They
were
were
very
right
good
next door to each other then.
because
Pisces, Aries.
Princeton, they were connected through Princeton.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that I just want to mention about Einstein. I just left his statue in DC because I was doing a presentation on Einstein and astrology. And what I want to say is that Einstein, W.E.B. Du Bois was also his friend, and he sent him a letter and asked him to speak out about the race situation. And Einstein did speak out, and he voiced that blacks deserve the same rights as everybody else. Not only that, he met with Paul Robeson, and they were he was helping trying to get legislation for an anti-lynching law. And that anti-lynching law was never passed until 2 weeks ago. Biden signed the anti-lynching law for the first time in the history
Very
of the
interesting.
country.
And there's also pictures of Einstein actually giving a lecture to black college students.
Yes, I
You
have
know
that.
what I'm saying?
I have that
Okay,
picture.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
I didn't get in this lecture. Now, talking about contemporary issues, I had to do Katanji. Okay, so we did our 2 Aries, right? We looked at
Mm-hmm.
their charts. Now I want to show you Katanji Brown Jackson's chart. I had to show it. I had to show Katanji Brown Jackson.
She's
Who
the same day as Constance Baker Motley.
really?
Yes, that's her birthday in September.
September 14th,
Yes,
1979.
that's exactly right. Exactly right. Constance Baker Motley.
And she was, Katanji was born in Washington, D.C. And I didn't know her birth time, but I put her birth time for 12 noon. And it just looks like it's the right chart. I'm telling you, because her chart is amazing. Notice all the blue lines,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
energy that she has flowing in her chart. Now, number one, Katanji was born on a full moon. Her sun is
That means
21.
the moon is in Pisces.
Yes, her sun is in Virgo and her moon is in Pisces. So she's very compassionate and very, for years I wanted to be a Virgo. For years. I love Virgo. I love Virgo men, and Virgo women are just like the best.
Well, you would have loved my mother then. Trust me.
Really?
She was a superb Virgo mom.
Oh my God. Virgo women. I told this Virgo woman, once, I said, Virgo women run the world. And she said, no, dear, we don't run it. We organize it. We organize the world.
That makes sense.
I've worked with different companies and organizations. You're always going to have those Virgo women. I hire a Virgo woman anytime to get the job done. Okay.
That's
Now,
interesting.
when you look at Katanji's chart, you can tell, she doesn't have no fire. She has one outer planet, Uranus in air, but she has a stellium in the Virgo. Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Pluto.
Yeah,
Sun,
up in the top, in the 9th and 10th house.
Mars. And then her midheaven is Virgo. Now we're speculating, but I really believe she was born around noon in DC. Just the fact that she's the first Black woman to be a Supreme Court justice in Washington, DC. And whenever you have Mars at the top of your chart, that means that you are going to be very successful in your career. Remember, this is the MC is the midheaven. This is the highest point in the chart.
Yeah.
This is 12 noon. Okay, the ascendant is 6 a.m., 22 degrees, Scorpio. Okay, there's that master number again. Her ascendant, the constellation rising in the east when she came out of her mother's womb. Venus and Jupiter were rising in Scorpio. That is so powerful. You
And
know,
that's a fixed element Scorpio too.
but what you got to know is that this is the 12th house, the house of Pisces, which is a water house. They're in water, so she's very intuitive. I
And
wouldn't
own
be
her own element. That means she can pick up right away. And Pisces is often referred to as a psychic sign in astrology anyway, isn't it?
Yes, not only the psychic sign, but the psychic sponge of the zodiac.
Oh, I like how you put that. I like how you
Yes,
put that. Yes.
because they're always picking up everybody else's energy. That's why they have to have protection with their oils and their crystals and to get other people's energy off of them because they be feeling stuff. They be wondering what's going on. If they're around negativity, they absorb it. If they're around positivity,
Yeah, yeah.
it's much
People
better
know
for
what
them.
they're around.
And not only that, look at she has Neptune at her ascendant again.
That's
So,
water.
but I'm just saying that Ketanji, like I said, her predominant elements are earth and water. And she is amazing. She has a stellium in Scorpio and Virgo. And I remember when I met you years ago, Lloyd, on a panel. I don't know, I was saying the Scorpio Virgo combination is the most powerful fertile combination of them all.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear Katanji's friends talk about they talk about how dynamic and power and much of a leader she is. Okay, so then if we look, what I did is that I got the transit. These, you see this outer blue wheel right here?
Yes.
That's where the planets are in the heaven right now. And I cast this for April 7th, the day that she was confirmed by the Senate to be on the Supreme Court to see what was going on in her chart. And if we look around here and see what was going on that brought such a change, look at the destiny, look at her north, look at the north node for her destiny. It crossed right here. It was 22 degrees.
Yeah, on the western side of the wheel. That's interesting.
Look at that. But look at what else did I see? Earlier, I noticed some things that were changing for her. So Jupiter and Neptune were in her fourth house, which is her home, and that's expansion. And you see that Saturn, Mars, and Venus are right here crossing her destiny. Look at that. At 1 degree, her destiny is in 2 degrees Pisces, 1 degree Pisces. So Saturn and Jupiter and Venus had all just crossed this. So her destiny was changed. Saturn was laying down a whole new foundation for her. So when you look at this outer wheel, the transits, they're showing you what house is activated.
At that moment in time. You know, you make this fun. You know that, Jennifer.
Oh,
You make this a lot of fun.
Thank you. Astrology is so much fun and fascinating. The reason that I love astrology, one of the reasons is because one of my specialties is relationship analysis. I wanted to do Will and Jada's relationship chart because they're kind of trending.
Yeah.
But because
they're right next door to each other, Virgo, Libra.
But you know, the thing is that if you're attracted to someone, when you understand astrology, because all of these energies are like archetypes, the planets and the signs. And once you understand those archetypes, you can read anything. Okay, no matter what, if you're dealing with Yoruba, Ifa, Kemetic, everything, the first archetypes are the planets. And then once you understand that, like I said, it just opens up a whole new door for you.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. When I teach the course, I says my best students have a knowledge of the planets first, because the planets govern the sign as well as the numbers. So if you know the nature of the planets, you know the nature of any sign that comes before you and any number that's presented to you.
Wow.
That's a statement from Einstein. Astrology is the embodiment
of...
Well,
now that's my statement. That's not a statement. That's my statement.
Okay. So what do you mean then with your statement is the embodiment of...
Yeah, well, let me just tell you this, is that I have been studying quantum physics. I've been fascinated with this formula E equal MC squared my whole life, even though I don't have a science background. And my science background began just from watching PBS, okay? And last year, a voice came to me early in the morning at 6 a.m. and it said, "Let there be light, let there be light, let there be light," 3 times. And this was within the last 3 months of the year. And I was like, what? And once that happened, my whole life changed.
Hmm.
A lot of things just start opening up for me. And I was studying astrology. Because the books that I read and things that I read is, a lot of times I come across E=mc². And I was like, what does this mean? And then the voice told me astrology is the embodiment of E=mc². And I was like, what are you talking about? Because the E equals the energy, and everything is energy. Everything is light. Everything is electromagnetic. The M equals the mass or the matter. Oh, let me get my cursor over here so you can see it. Can you see my cursor?
Yes, I can. It's hovering right over the E=mc².
Because I was using my laptop instead of the monitor. And so the M equals mass or matter. Because, okay, just think of the mass of the planet. So we have planetary mass, and think of our body. We have our body mass, right? And then you have objects that are mass. And so E equal energy equals mass times light. Light. Our chakras are our light body. Okay? It takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the sunlight to reach us.
Really?
Yes. And it takes 8. And every sign rules an organ in the body.
That I know.
Leo rules the heart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take the heart, once it pumps the blood, to circulate through our whole body?
I have no idea.
8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Are you serious?
I am very serious.
And Leo is ruled by the sun.
That's right. And so I'm just saying that what it
That's
is
amazing.
And that what I'm saying is that the importance of having a spiritual practice to activate your chakras and your light body. That we are essentially made of light. That everything, we're just light solidified. And so I was doing this research at the Library of Congress last week, and it came to me: astrophysics, astronomy, and astrology are one, and they are all the embodiment of E=mc². So this is what I've got. I've just downloaded this. Is that E=mc² is about oneness, because astrophysics, astronomy, and astrology, they all start with the prefix of astro.
Yes, they do.
The stars.
Yeah, study of the heavens.
And it only makes sense. This is my revelation that I want to share.
I hear you. Well, see, that's come from all these years of experience that you've had, and the more we get into it, the more doors open or portals open where we begin to see the light of things, just like you had that revelation, and it makes perfect sense.
Okay, because listen to this. Just like I said, how we're receiving these cosmic energies, we receive the light from the sun, we receive the energy from the planets, this electromagnetic energy. We all know on the full moon how it's affecting our emotional and body. It affects the ocean. It affects the tidal waves and everything. And so I've heard that at the psych wards, they over-medicate people at the full moon, because if you're not balanced, you're going to go Looney Tunes. And also police departments, more calls on that full moon. Don't mess with a woman on her cycle on the full moon. Okay.
Well, it's interesting. I've heard from both police and people in the nursing field that they know that if a full moon is falling on the weekend, like this full moon fell on the weekend, they know they got extra work and it cut out for them. Because it's, first of all, it rules all the emotions, the feelings, it brings out all those things. So if one is not balanced or one gets into an argument with heightened the emotion, that just exacerbate the situation.
100%, brother. And I just want to say, so I was just trying to tie in this astrology is the embodiment of E equal MC square. I wanted to elaborate on that a little more. So
Please do. This makes total sense to me.
Thank you, because we are receiving these planetary energies. We have our electromagnetic body. It's affecting us. It's affecting our auras, okay? And so with the E equal MC square, energy, everything is energy. Can you see how we're receiving this energy? It's affecting our mass, our body. And we bring in the light energy, how it's all connected. Remember that we only see 5% of the universe, and that is like just a round off because it's really less, and because it's hard to conceive further. 95% of the universe is invisible.
Really?
Yes, we do not see it. 95% is invisible. That's why.
That's amazing, you know.
Yes.
When you think about that, and we only see 5%. Wow.
We only see, in fact, I need to use my app to shoot. I meant to show what's in the sky right now. There's all kind of stuff up in the heavens right now. We can't even see it.
But yet it's still going on.
Yes, it's so much.
There's a lot of things taking place right now through the next month or two that people don't know, retrogrades and transits. I mean, all kind of crazy things are going on in the heavens.
Let me just say this, is that I would love to encourage your audience to meditate and get a spiritual practice. You got to go within, because that's the only way you're going to make it through this, because this is going to be another challenging year. Because if you notice with the chart, all the planets except for the moon are in between the nodes. Okay, like if you look at a chart, all the planets are in between the nodes. If I go back to a chart right now.
And what does that mean for those that don't understand as we do?
You see this? What that means is that things are very challenging and struggles, and it's a lot of chaos and confusion going on. And this was happening. This is going to be happening for the rest of this year. So you don't know anybody.
People should keep their balance. People should not be thrown off under any pretext. Is that what you're saying? To just kind of look before you leap and think before you speak?
Yes. And Mercury's going retrograde on May 10th.
Yes.
And so that's 3 weeks away.
Yes.
So remember, retrograde, people are like, oh, Mercury retrograde. But just look at Mercury retrograde as a timeline. You're going back in time because it's reversing. And what it is you have to review, retrograde, reorganize, reanalyze what you have been doing since the beginning of the year.
Recall everything. Everything is review everything.
And so also, you don't want to sign the contracts or commit to something new, because like I've just observed it, just as an example, when somebody, let's say a friend of mine was renting out one of her spaces, and the guy signed the contract during Mercury retrograde. She had him signed during Mercury retrograde. When Mercury went direct a few months later, he had supposed to be there a year. He left. So I'm just saying, things have to be redone. So just try to wrap up everything and watch your words.
I'm so sorry. You got me so excited, because by August there will be no less than 4 or 5 planets all retrograde.
Yeah, and right now it's such a powerful time because all the planets are direct, I think, until the end of the month. I think Pluto's going retrograde. Yeah. These past couple of months, we've been having all the planets direct, and it's very powerful to get things done. So everybody wrap everything up you need to wrap up and handle what you need to care, especially the technology, your cars or whatever. Make sure everything is going good. So
you are a lot of fun, Jenna Ba.
Thank
I'm
you.
really enjoying this. I'm really, really, and I hope my viewers are as well too,
And
because
let me
this
see.
puts it a whole different spin and perspective on how we should look at ourselves, evaluate our future and the direction according to the charts and stuff. Continue.
I just want to.
I'll try to not to ask questions, but I mean, you got me excited about all these questions and got me started.
Oh, no, no, no. I love that. Listen, I don't know if the audience is going to have any questions, but I do want to say that my website, I want people to. I'm going to be giving 2 3-hour workshops.
Hold on, I have your banner. Let me see if I should be able to pull it up where
Okay, I
people can.
think that's my live site. My computer, my laptop is frozen. I don't even know if that's my last slide, but
Okay, so there it is right there. So there they are right there.
okay. Um, my website is houseofcosmicenergy.com. And on my contact page, if you go to the bottom, you can sign up for my email list because I've really been like very much underground and I'm going to be doing some Zoom workshops. I'm going to do 2 3-hour workshops by introduction to interpreting your astrology chart. I'm going to show you how to find out what your soul purpose is, what your gifts are, your challenges, and just, what's activated in your life right now, how it's showing Ketanji Brown's chart. We're going to
Hmm.
show how to interpret your chart and transits. Also, I'm going to be doing 2 3-hour workshops on astrocartography. And we didn't really get into that today, but astrocartography is the science of relocation.
Yes, where to move.
Where is the most empowering place for you to live? Where to do your business? And if you're an artist, everyone should know where their power zones are so they can market themselves. If you want to invest in real estate, you need to know where are your money lines. Okay, where's the best place for you to have your business? And it works. I studied with Jim Lewis in the early 90s, who created astrocartography. I studied with him right here in Berkeley. I was the last group to study with him because he was a Gemini. He had brain cancer.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, I was the last. I was with the last group to study with him.
And you say he actually developed astrocartography?
Yes, he developed it. He did not copyright it. That was one mistake he made.
That's now considered very common with astrology apps now. Where to live for health, for career, for
But
this, for that.
but what it is that you got to understand how to cast the relocated chart. That's the key. Because I relocated to the East Coast for 15 years,
Hmm.
and I did not cast my relocated chart. I was just like, oh, I got my midheaven lines on the East Coast. Let me go there. Because every time you move, your chart changes.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That
So
makes
like
sense.
if I'm born at 9 a.m. in California, it's going to be 12 noon in New York.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
And so it's a whole nother energy and you feel it. And these lines represent past lives also. So that's one of my specialties. And
Well,
if
that
you're,
sounds major. I like that. Where should I move or where should I live? Because people will ask those things.
but not only that, is where is the best place for you to invest in real estate? Because if you have a Neptune line in your fourth house, you're going to lose money. I've had so many clients. I would just look at their chart. I don't even have to cast the relocated chart or look at their map. If they have Neptune in the fourth house, they're going to lose money on their real estate. I can just tell them instantly, you don't want to invest in real estate if you're on a Neptune line. Also, a midheaven line. If you have Saturn at the top of your chart, and I've seen this over and over again, especially for women, for sisters. Your career could be going fine, things could be going fine, but you're never happy. You don't want to live under a
Interesting.
Saturn line. You do not. You will not be happy.
I think you're going to get a whole lot of responses, lady. Okay, because that's very, very interesting, especially with people wanting to move or when to move, and
Yeah.
more important, where to move. And
But
this
the
is
key thing is especially a lot of our people are relocating to the motherland. And
yes,
you want to know what line you're moving under. You want to know because As I said, every time you move, you relocate, your chart changes. So you want to be under the most beneficial lines, and you see people go, oh, they had a bad experience, or don't go here, there, there. What line were they living under?
And you know what's interesting? I hear a lot of people moving to Africa, and Ghana seems to be the main area that a lot of people are moving to.
Yes.
What is it about Ghana offhand? Or, I know I'm probably asking something that, but it's amazing. Yeah, I'm going to Ghana. Yes, we're moving to Ghana. It's like, I
Are
mean,
you
there are
are
80 countries or something,
50, 52 to 4.
52. Okay.
They keep changing it. But the thing about Ghana is that the president was very smart when he announced the year of return. That was the smartest move he could have ever done. And Ghana, ever since Nkrumah, has been out in the forefront with W.E. Du Bois relocating there, has been in the forefront of welcoming us back home more than any other country.
And also Malcolm X, when he made his tour through Africa, began to wake up all of those brothers, Kuma, all of them, about the whole thing that we're all related, that we're just displaced, but our point of origin is there in the motherland.
Yes, yes, and yes. It's just like Nubia. Oh my God. You just don't know how much I love the Nubians.
In fact, that's a Nubian robe that you have on, a dress that you have on, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I got so many nice things in Nubia. The people are amazing. And just, oh my goodness, that's a whole nother show. But Lloyd, I just wanted to make sure I covered everything. Are there any questions?
I don't know, because I've been so busy wrapped up in what you were saying. I says, oh, I'm sure that, yeah, we got a boatload of comments, like 85 of them. Hold on.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Lord, I'm so excited. I just want to say this, share this with your audience. I will never forget. I was in Oakland, California when I saw you in the early 80s on Tony Brown's Journal.
Yes.
And as I sat there in Oakland, California, I said, I have got to meet this man.
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
called it the name of the show that he called me about was he called it The Man with the Numbers, and that's because I was talking about the Atlanta child kidnappings at that time, the Atlanta child murders.
oh, wow. Do you want me to stop sharing my screen now?
Yeah, sure. If you want to, I mean, if your slide presentation is finished,
Because my
I mean,
thing
you
is
just got me
frozen.
had some more questions than anything, so I've been enjoying this.
Okay, yeah, my screen is frozen. Let me see if I can stop sharing. Stop screen.
Okay,
Stop, because hopefully I can stop. Okay, there you go. There you go.
okay. This is great.
Oh
Let's
my
see.
God, I'm so excited. I just was saying that when I relocated to the East Coast back in the
80s, you're saying, right?
no. I was living in California in the 80s. I didn't relocate to the East Coast until the mid 90s.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, and then we were on the same panel. But it took, when I said I've got to meet this man, when I saw you on Tony Brown's Journal, and I will never forget that. This is like a dream come true.
Well, this is great. And don't forget, we also shared a panel too.
Yes, that's how I met you.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
how I met you.
Yeah, we shared a panel. So we've been doing this a minute, I would say, a New York minute. All right.
Yes, yes.
Denise Sparrow says, great evening, very interesting and whatnot. And she gave a birthday. So we're not going to do any readings because we're really coming up on the 1 hour mark. But you know what, Jennifer, I got to have you back. Okay. And
Really? Oh, I would love to
I
come
want
back.
you to create another slide presentation.
Oh, yes.
We're going to do some celebrities in the news, out of the news, in politics, the arts, whatever the case is. It's going to be your show, as I always tell all my guests. And I mean it sincerely. When you're on, it is about what you are doing and things of that nature. I think is very, very important. And I mean, people are just saying thank you. They're
Oh,
just giving thanks.
oh,
Wow. It's like,
much pleasure. I just want to let you know, astrology is so deep. People don't look at, I've been studying astrology since 1980. And so
there's so much to learn because each degree represents something symbolic. I mean, if you just got into what the first degree, the second degree, up to 30 degrees, I mean, each degree, I mean, there's so many aspects. You can be
The knowledge of astrology is infinite. And it's like I learn something new every day. And it's just that's how deep astrology is. People don't realize how deep astrology really is. If you give me the date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth, I could break it down and tell you what's up. That's just
Well, I tell you this, what we're going to do when we have you back, we're going to try to take a few because this person,
you know that I normally don't do readings online.
I know you do. I know you made that very clear. You made that very, very clear.
So maybe we could cast a couple of people's charts. I don't want to do just sun sign astrology. I'll actually cast their chart on the air.
Yes, and they all know that when they get on, some give their time, some don't know their time and whatnot like
okay,
that.
Can I address that for New Yorkers?
Please do. Please do.
The majority of people on the East Coast do not have their birth time. And that is not a coincidence. But let me just tell you this.
Wow.
I met a brother in New York, and this is for New Yorkers specifically. You can request your vault copy, VAULT, that has your birth time. Now, since the pandemic, I don't know what's going on. This brother actually got a phone number and called the woman. She picked up the phone, went and looked and gave him his birth time. Now, this was years ago. I have no.
And this is the vault, what? The vault, VAULT, what?
The vault copy in New York has your birth time. The regular birth certificates do not have your birth time.
Very generic. Very generic.
But request the vault copy.
I'm willing to bet you vault copies are all over this country. We just know it about New York. It's got to be in California where you live, right?
No, nobody don't have no problems about having their birth time on the West Coast. It's the East Coast from being there for.
How do you think that is, though?
Let me just tell you this: Washington D.C., you can't find an astrology magazine. That whole
what?
No, I had to go to Virginia to get a magazine. The whole astrology is banned in the nation's capital. That whole city is lined up the whole on the
but
stars.
It was astrologically constructed. It was astrologically. He's a Scorpio. He astrologically constructed the nation's capital.
I know it's all lined up with the stars. There's over 1,000 emblems of the goddess Isis or Aset in the architectural structures of Washington, D.C. Now, we could sit and talk about this.
I mean, even the obelisk there in D.C.
I love my favorite place. My favorite place. I've been up there at least 25 times. But let me tell you this. People in D.C., a certain person used to always tell me, DJenna Ba, D.C. is a Baptist town. And when I would tell people that, I did astrology, they would look at me like I was dirt and look down on it. But this is our culture. This is our science. This is our art.
It is. It's an ancient.
And the fact of the matter. Yes. And the fact of the matter that Washington, D.C., the whole mall, the Smithsonian, the White House, 16th Street, everything is lined up with the stars and the planets. Everything.
Yes. Benjamin Banneker did that. Very scientifically and esoterically, and this is why I explained it. The United States' birthday is the 4th, but Washington, D.C. is broken into 4 sections. The area code is 202. The zip code to Washington is 20002, which is 4. A president is elected every 4 years. The initial inauguration of the presidents was March the 4th. I could just run more 4s in the nation's capital.
Is that why I love DC? Because I'm a 4. I'm a 4. Okay.
I know you're born on the 13th. And the United States did everything on 13. 13 stars, 13 stripes, 13 signers of the Declaration of Independence. It was signed at 1300 Locust Street. Thomas Jefferson, that wrote the Declaration, in fact, was born in the 4th month on the 13th day. Same day as Hot Al Grits Green, the singer, And E pluribus unum, 13 letters. The White House, 13 letters. Don't tread on me, 13 letters. But I'm going to stop right there. But, I'm saying that there is more esoteric influence in this nation and in this culture than given credit for.
True that. True that.
So anyway, listen, don't go nowhere. I just need to announce who's going to be on Wednesday. And please, everybody, please take advantage of her banner. We're going to go through this. Just stay just a little longer. I just want to,
Oh, yes, of course, of
take you
course.
out nicely. But I want to just say who's going to be on and a couple other things that's happening too. Okay. So now, with that said, and we're going to be right back to Geneva. I just want to let you know that on Wednesday we're going to have we're going to have Jackie Levine. She where's this? Okay, okay, there she is. She's going to be our guest this Wednesday. The Queen of Numerology. She's going to be having a workshop coming up soon. So this is for Wednesday the 20th, and April the 20th happens to be her birthday. She's a Taurus. Okay. Then also, I want everybody, since it's the fourth month, to please sign up for the free monthly newsletter that was done every month. I've been doing this newsletter now for over a year. And so just go to my website or my co-partner Kai Prince to do this. And tonight and at 9 o'clock, which is why I got to get off soon, I'm going to be talking about this gentleman here. I don't know whether you've ever heard of him, Jennifer, but Casper Holstein was a brother that came from the Caribbean, but he was the man credited with starting the numbers game in Harlem. And because
Mm.
of him, now every state in the United States and different parts of the world have a lottery system. But this is the man that started, and I'm going to be talking about his origin. In fact, he was a Sagittarius born on the 7th of December. And in fact, died this month of April the 5th of 78 years ago in 1944. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about him, how numbers started. In fact, I live right up the block from where he used to have his number thing. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So that's it. I'm very excited about that. And okay, so we got this straight. We got our guest coming up on Wednesday, Jackie Levine. And so now that I got that, I need to get back to my special guest and say, oops, 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 oops. Sister Jennifer, you know I got to thank you. You know that, right? This was
Oh,
fun.
thank you. Thank
This
you.
was
Oh,
fun.
thank you.
We must do this again, dear, and bless you. And everybody, y'all be careful about all these things that she was saying. And yes, we will have you back so you can then do part two. I this and let me tell you, for people that don't know, we were having a time of it yesterday, right? And you figured out how to do a slide presentation. Me, I'm doing the best I can. All right, you figured that out, and it paid off very nicely, although we got a slow start and we didn't start till 7 minutes after the hour this evening. But I must thank you from the bottom of my heart for your tenaciousness, young lady. Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
Jim.
thank you, Lord. Thank you for all of your patience. I just want to say again is that if anybody is interested in contacting me, to go to my website under contact.
Hold up. Let me put your banner on to make sure they get this straight now. We're
Yeah.
gonna, yeah. There we go, right there. So
Which
people
is
can
my
see it.
website is thehouseofcosmicenergy.com. And on the contact page, if you're interested in a consultation, just fill in that form. But if you just want to be on my email list, where on my email list, I will notify you about my upcoming workshops and how to use astrology to interpret your chart, and also about the astrocartography, which I call the science of relocation.
In
To
fact, I'm
find
gonna sign up for that one too.
to
So you'll
find
be
out
getting a call from me. Definitely.
yes, to find out where your power zones are around the world. And I highly recommend it to people who have a business or artists, because I had a woman, she had products, and this was years ago in the late 90s. And she came to me and she would go on these tours across the country. And I would say, this city is good, this city is good, this city is good. That would be prosperous for her to sell her products. So when you're, this is dealing with marketing, finding out where your money lines are globally. Thank you.
You know what? And in my book, Numbers and You, I also have best places to live as well as best places to vacation, because each city, as you and I know, have an energy source. So what is good for one person may be disastrous for another person. So I want everybody, please get in touch with my very special guest, Jenna Ba, Esoteric Astrologer, and Metaphysical. I don't know what's happening with that word out my mouth today, but Metaphysical Lecturer. Her website is houseofcosmicenergy.com. Trust me, this is where you go. She has an upcoming workshop to be announced. So I will, and in fact, once you get the date settled, can you pass them on to me so I can share them with the viewers?
Yes, I would love that. And, you know, for me, the technology, I'm just stepping into it. I've been underground for a long time. But as I'm getting older, I realize I really want to share this information. I really want to share it. And I want to put myself out and get a YouTube channel. And Lloyd, you're such an inspiration. And I just love you. I love
You know
you.
what? See, 4 is the number of technology. And 4 rules the sign of Aquarius, which we're in the age of Aquarius. We got to talk about that. But hold on. Before we go, I got to mention your Cash App. We got to support a sister. Okay. And it's $ JMA for you. JAIMA for the number 4 you. That is $ JAIMA, the number 4 you. You look beautiful, dear. That's all I could tell you for. I love that. I love that top. That's just amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And God bless you, Jennifer.
Blessings to you and your loved ones too.
Thank you very, very much. And everybody, I want to thank you very, very much for joining us. There at the bottom of the screen is her information. Please reach out to her. And so since a lot of people seem to be, and it's so interesting, Jennifer, because a lot of people seem to be talking about moving. So they need to consult you to find out what's the best line of power for finance, investments, real estate, health, because there is lines for health too, right? For one to want to improve.
Oh yes, health. Oh yes. You're gonna have some bad health if you under those Saturn lines. The most auspicious line is Jupiter. You can't go
always Jupiter line. What about Venus?
Well, it depends. It's good for money. It's good for spending money and finding some love. Finding some love.
I'm sure. Listen, because in my world, they either want to know about romance or finance. Okay, those are the main two.
But I just want to say, it's so interesting that you say that because nobody wants to be alone, but sometimes we got to take time and be alone with ourselves. But the thing is, when you look at a chart, you will see if that's supposed to be your focus this lifetime. You will clearly see because the planets are circling around the chart, right? And certain houses are activated. There's 12 houses in each chart. And so specific houses are for relationship and marriage. If you don't have planets in those houses, or it's not activated at the time you come for a consultation, that should not be your focus. And there's certain lines to meet your love. So it's just.
Well, it sounds like they need to consult a sister, Jennifer. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All right.
Thank you.
Sounds like they need to definitely give you a call. And Jennifer, thank you so much, dear. And you have a blessed day. I enjoy all my interviews, but this was different. This was challenging, but it all worked out. And it was a great presentation, and bless you too. I got so excited. So I know sometimes people say, Lord, you talk too much, but I've always been curious, and that's the only way you can learn. If you're not curious, you're going to be in trouble in this world. So anyway, thank you, dear. And I will talk to you soon. And you will be back. You will be back.
I definitely want to thank your audience. I want to thank your audience. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see the chat. If anybody had any questions.
Well, what happens is it's when you look at it tonight, just go to YouTube channel. Just my YouTube channel is called Numbers and You, Lloyd Strayhorn, and you see people's comments. But I got so engrossed, I forgot to even check the comments, and you got a boatload of them too.
Okay, let me just ask one thing. You said you have to go because you're speaking about this brother tonight. Where can we hear that? Is that available to the public, or is that some?
Yes, it's on YouTube, and it's Brother Rich's show, Black Magic 363.
Okay, what time is that going to be? Because I watch this show.
It's going to be at 9 o'clock, which will be at 6 o'clock your time.
Okay, so that's in. I got about 35 minutes. Okay,
yeah,
beautiful. All right, yeah, I was going to say promote the show, brother. Where? Don't just tell us.
Okay, you're funny. Let me put this up a second so people can see.
Yeah. I didn't see it.
At 6 p.m. I mean, at 9 p.m. See, you got me on California time. But tonight at 9 p.m., I'm going to be on Brother Rich's show, Black Magic 363, talking about this outstanding gentleman, how he developed the number system. And he fed a whole lot of people because of the numbers game. I mean, he gave and donated to the creative arts during the Harlem Renaissance. I mean, it was just an amazing brother, an amazing brother. Sagittarius, born December the 7th of 18 something. I forgot what it is, but I know he died 78 years ago this month on April the 5th in 1944.
Wow. I would love to
Man of
see
the
his,
impact.
I would love to see his chart.
Yes, if I can find out his exact time, I'll tell you because he was born in the Caribbean. I'll give you that. The only thing I won't be able to give you is his exact time, but I do know the Caribbean island he was born in. I do know the month, the day, and the year
Okay.
he was born in the 1800s, and that
Yeah,
should
I
get
would
you
love,
started.
I'm just curious because he was a mastermind. He was a master.
Yes, he was. But then again, let me get this straight. Okay, let me just get this straight. This is fun. We could keep talking.
I
But
know.
he is a number seven. Sevens and fours are very, very unique. Fours are very futuristic, like you. Sevens are your analysts. They're your specialists. They're very, very driven to get to the bottom of something. And what happened is when he was working, and in fact, they said when he was working down on Wall Street, it made it sound like it was a big deal, but he was actually a porter and stuff, working for the Wall Street Journal, ironically. All right. But anyway, there's a whole lot to it that I'll explain
Okay,
in
yeah,
about an
yeah.
hour's time. All righty. So bless you,
Please.
bless you, bless you, dear. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. And everybody, I want to thank you for the kindness and the real royal treatment you gave my guests. You're gonna have to forgive me for over talking because my brain is always trying to figure out what questions you'll say something. I go with every guest. One day I'll learn how to calm down. But right now, this is so exciting for me. So everybody, I want you to have a blessed day. All of you take good care. I will see you on Wednesday with my special guest, Miss Jackie Levine. Until then, have a blessed day.